Parashat Shabbos, he says, the Moshe says to Abraham, I'll make you rich, I'll make you famous. So everybody says, why is it a test? Listen, anybody says to me, go to Argentina, I'll make you rich and famous, I'll jump on the next plane, I'm going. So the Rosh said that for Avraham Avinu, riches and fame is meaningless, right? Avraham Avinu, on his level. So, but he said, Rabbeinu Shalom, I don't need it. If for your sake you want me to be rich and famous, I'll even go through that for you. I'll be rich and famous for you. That's what he said. Listen to this. So one of the Chassidim met the Heilige of the Tshuva. I think the Tshuva, one of the other rabbis. So he says to him, what's happening? Dari? Listen to this, beautiful friends. He says to the Tshuva is asking, what did the Heilige Rosh say last Shabbos? He gives him over the Torah. The Tshuva hears his Torah. He says, this Torah is not from this world. He says, a person in this world cannot be masik a level like this. That I'm only rich and famous for the Rabbeinu Shalom. He says, I'm afraid it's time for the Rosh to leave the world. It's not in this world. So Mamash said, here they had the Rosh passed away. Heartbreaking, right? Hey. Good one. Ziddik Sheva. How you doing? Thank you for coming. Crazy, right? Yeah. We are making you stop for exactly 2 minutes. But she's crying now. What's this mean?
Sleep.
Okay, folks, want to learn something very, very deep. So with Rab Leibel, you can open your heart books. Smiling at Chaim Shimon.
Smiling at Yakira.
Oh, brother. Okay, now listen to this, I'll make it fast. Everybody knows when the angel came and says to Sarah, you'll have a baby, she was laughing. She says, how could I have a baby? My husband is so old. What? So, first of all, everybody's asking, what is it? I mean, she was Baruch Hashem, she was also not, you know? Yeah, she was not, and second, how come she was laughing? It's the questions are 2,000 questions. The major question is one simple question. Everybody knows, Sarah, at that moment when the angel says she'll have a baby, she mamish became 20 years old. Her body changed. She became suddenly 20 years old. Yeah. Or maybe even 14 years old. But mamish physically she changed. She was mamish like a young woman suddenly. Avraham didn't change. Avraham stayed old. And he had a baby, right? So this is already off. How come she says my husband is old? She looked at Avraham and she saw Avraham didn't change. But she had changed. So it's already like the first question is already off. But now the deepest question of the world is, how come Avraham didn't change? Why was just Sarah changing? Because one of the two, if God wants to perform a miracle, perform a miracle that the woman of 90 have a baby. But why did she have to become young again? And why didn't Avraham Avinu stay young? Also, the deepest question of the world is, this is mamish a deep question. Avraham Avinu at that point was 99 years old, right? After the bris, right? It's 99 years old. And, you know, I was learning it yesterday a little bit. According to one Medrash, Avraham Avinu was 3 years old when he began serving God. And according to another Medrash, 48. Let's assume it was 48. From the age of 48 to 99, Avraham Avinu is feeding the hungry, right? Spreading God's name. 24 hours. And the Torah doesn't mention it. When is the Torah mentioning it? Now, after 99 years. He enters a covenant with God, and he feeds angels who don't even need the food. I would like to tell a story. Mamish was a little pagan, he was dying from hunger. Avraham Avinu got a phone call, hey, the little brother pagan is sitting out crying, he's dying. Avraham Avinu runs out in the middle of a cold night, or hot day, that I understand. And also, one more thing. God is talking to Avraham Avinu, and here I just want you to open your heart the deepest way. In the middle, imagine that let's say the Lubavitcher Rebbe would talk to me, right? And I would, instead of listening to the Rebbe, I would stand by the window and say, Rebbe, I'm waiting, maybe some hippo is passing by who needs some pizza, right? A chutzpah, right? Avraham Avinu, God is talking to him, and he says, Rabbanu Shalom, you know? Sorry, but I got to keep my eyes on the road. Maybe a little pagan will come and he needs something to eat. Doesn't make sense. Okay, I want to give you over Torah, which is Gewalt. Good. This is basically, it's a Torah in Ishbitz and Beis Yaakov, but Rab Leibel puts it like even deeper. It says, Vayera Elav Hashem, God revealed himself to him. It doesn't say his name. And remember we're learning it a lot of times. The truth is, you only need a name for somebody else to call you. If you would be all alone in the world, you don't need a name, right? So even God can reveal himself to you on the level that God is calling your name. That means God is somebody else. Vayera Elav, that means for the first time God reached the deepest depths of him inside, which is deeper than a name. Because if a person calls you, it's still somebody else calling. That means the deepest, deepest, deepest depths of our heart. And this is one of the Torahs which is very important for Level Ege. And listen to this. I'm very much in love with the girl Sprinzele. Okay, I'm finding here, I'm meeting her at Kosher Delight in Ballpark. And I proposed to her in Satmar and Lubavitch, and from heaven, I want to marry you. So she says to me, I tell you the truth, I like you, but not this way. And instead of becoming your wife, I'm ready to become your secretary. While I'm talking to her, Moshe Yankel sitting on another Kosher Delight table, I say, hey, Sprinzel, wait a minute. I'm running over to the table. I say, Moshe Yankel, you owe me $1,000 for 100 years. When are you going to pay me back? So he says to me, I'll tell you the truth. I cannot pay you back 1,000. I'll give you back 500. I think, wow, this is Mamash Rebach, this is unbelievable miracle because I never thought I'd see a penny. So okay, give me 500. I'm going back to Sprinzler. I say, what's the story? She says, I can only be your secretary. I says, or you marry me or nothing. She says, I just heard you compromise. Why took you 500 there? Why can't you compromise with me? This is the term of Level Ege. You can only compromise on things which are outside of you, which are not important. $1,000, I take 500. When it comes to the deepest depths, it's yes or no. It's yes or no. I'll tell you something, I'll ask you a very deep question. A person comes to me and he says, you know something, I cannot put on film every day, I can only put on film Sunday, should I? I say, Gewalt. Even once a month, once a year, put it on. And then a year later said to me, listen to me, I'll tell you something, I don't really believe in God 100%, I believe in God 10%. I said, listen brother, this is Bob because you're a pagan. Or you believe in God or not, right? When it comes to the deepest depths, I cannot compromise. Someone said to me, I believe in God. I want you to also think JC is very important. Oh, I says, listen to me, you just told me to once a week. So why can't you compromise? Let me have a little Holy Ghost, for Shabbos for the second meal, right? It doesn't go yes or no, right? Or you believe in the Rabban Shlomo, or you don't. I don't care if you don't, but tell me you don't, right? Okay, so this is one of the Torahs of Level Ege, that when I give you something from the deepest depth of my heart, or you receive it completely, or you don't receive it at all. So here Level Ege says the deepest depths. Until Avraham Avinu entered the covenant with God, the Rebbe Shem didn't give him from such a deep place. So whatever Avraham took, he took. After he entered the covenant with God, it's so deep. Unless he is mekavel the whole thing b'shlemus, can't go. So Mamash Vayera Elav Hashem. For the first time in the world, a Yid that was there in Mamish received the whole revelation of God. Whatever God wanted to give him was Mamish mekavel. B'shlemus. Now listen to this. The moment of Avraham Avinu is mekavel b'shlemus. What's the first sign of your mamish mekavel from the Rabban Shlomo? You want to run away, run out and be mashpia to somebody else. What happens to you when you hear mamish, I'm coming back from the holy wall, right? The first kid will say, listen, Yida, you have to go to Yerushalayim, right? Mamish. I want to be mashpia on that person also. Right? So as long as Avraham Avinu was mekabel a little bit from God, sure, it's a little bit mashpia, right? For the first time, he's mekabel b'shleimus completely. While the worship revealing himself, he says, "Rabbi, I'm keeping my eyes on the road. Maybe there is somebody there. Maybe there's somebody there." So goodbye, right? Now listen to this. I want you to know. I want you to know something so deep. Until Yitzchak was born, parents and children were not together. It's like a Coca-Cola machine, a certain process, a chemical process. A man and a woman get together as a baby. What happened from Avraham Avinu on? Avraham hired as Yitzchak. Mamish, the deepest connection in the world. Mamish, Avraham has a son Yitzchak. Yitzchak has a son as a father Avraham. But this is not as deep as Sarah having a son Yitzchak. Yeah. Why is Sarah even deeper? Because everybody knows being a Jew depends on the mother. And we're learning it last week, and I want to get involved again, the whole Torah. When Avraham Avinu said to Sarah, from now on say that I'm your brother, and the Ishbitzer says, everybody knows, husband and wife, you can get divorced. Brother, sister, you can't. Avraham Avinu gave over to Sarah the holiness that from now on Yiddishkeit should be like brother and sister. You can't get off. From Sarah on, from the Holy Mother Sarah, whoever is a Jew because of Sarah can't get off. Can't get off the hook. Go out, right? But now listen to this. I want you to know, everybody knows, a miracle is only for the second, doesn't last long. 1 second, a miracle. Kriyas Yamsuf is a minute, right? What's forever? Nature. Nature has one unbelievable koyach. It's forever. Always summer, always winter, always the earth, always the sky. The relationship of Avraham and Yitzchak is enough. There's a miracle. A 99-year-old man has a baby. Sarah is making Yitzchak into a Yid. She cannot have a child by a miracle. Mamish, Sarah has to become young again. Mamish, because it has to be so complete, right? Mamish, because Sarah has to be mekabel. You see what it is? Avraham doesn't have to receive the miracle of having a baby. For one moment, God gave him the miracle to have a baby. Sarah has to be mekabel this deepest depth of connection between her and the baby forever. So it couldn't be a miracle. The miracle was that she became young again. For a second, it was one miracle. But her relationship to Yitzchak, Amish forever. So I couldn't believe it, she says, Gewalt, right? And you know what Sarah did with her laughter? I want you to know, when do you laugh? If you believe in something but you can't believe it, right? What'll happen when Mashiach is coming? Why are we laughing? I knew the whole time Mashiach is coming, right? Couldn't believe it. It's too beautiful to be true, right? Our mother Sarah was paving the way until Mashiach is coming. That even if a Jew, I want you to know something. A lot of people don't believe in God. You know why? They can't believe it's true. It's too beautiful to be true, right? It's too awesome to be true. All the non-religious people in Israel, you know what their problem is? They can't believe it's true that God is giving us the land, right? Can't believe it. Come on. It's true, right? You see what it is? Sarah thought that the miracle is for a second. She'll be young for a second. And that'll be over. God says, you don't believe I can make you young forever? I want you to know the strongest gevura is, mamish like Yitzchak said before, to start over again. Chesed means even if you don't start, if you're old, you're 99 years old, your chesed, I take you in. Gevura is, I don't want to be an old Hitler. I want to start, right? I want to be a baby. I want to be like Yitzchak. So brought up to the world that in order to be a Yid, you have to start over again. Go back to the day you were born. Anyway, I want you to know that Mamash saw the first time brought down to the world that the connection between a mother and a child is Mamash complete. And it's forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And with her laughter, she brought down the miracle. You know, imagine, I never kept Shabbos in my life. I'm in the habit of not keeping Shabbos. Suddenly I can break all my habits. And here I want you to know a deep Torah. What do you need the strongest kavur? What do you need the most strength in the world for? The most strength you need to break your habits. Hard. And here I want you to know Rosh Torah. When Avraham Avinu saw the three pagans, he says, Rachatzu raglechem, wash off your habits. Regel comes from the word habit. You know? Gewalt, he says, all the Rebbe say the same thing. Avraham Avinu says, if you want to serve God, no habits. What's the oldest thing in the world? Habits, right? See, Avraham Avinu was very holy, but you can maybe serve God on the level of Avraham. I'm still have my stupid habits. I'm trying, right? Putting on Sunday, once a month, I drive Shabbos to Shul and have Lakshin Kugel. According to Avraham, it's also a Gewalt, right? And then Rabbi Yitzchak blows his mind that this biggest Rosh in the world, Mamash, driving up Shabbos to Shul, and he eats Lakshin Kugel. Say, Rabbi Yitzchak Gewalt, give a cook. The Yid is so holy, he could have had ham and cheese this morning, and he drives specially to Shul to have Lakshin Kugel, right? And Rabbi Yitzchak can turn over heaven and earth. I have to tell you something. Remember, it's such a cute story. I'm sure you know it anyway, but in case you don't. Before Slichas, Rabbi Yitzchak is going to Shul, and it's very heavily raining. So they make a stop on their canopy, a little broken house. They hear voices. Rabbi Yitzchak says to the shamus, go look what's going on there. Shh, he says, Rabbi, it's all the thieves, and they're here to divide their loot. Shh. Wow, unbelievable, holy thieves they here. So Rabbi Yitzchak says, do me a favor, tell me what they're doing. So he sneaks up. He says, Rabbi, you know what they're doing? This one thief says that he stole this year 1,000 rubles. The other thief brags and he says he stole 2,000 rubles. Rabbi Yitzchak couldn't control himself anymore. He says, Rabbi Shalom, even the thieves are already confessing before you.